tonight cannot be here, so I'm going to take the whole session. We usually team teach it, but she has a conflict today. She did have something she wanted me to remind you of. She said there's a video in Blackboard. Watch the first 8 minutes of it. She said there's also a second site that you can go to and get some time management tips. Those will be found under the course documents in Blackboard. At the end of this session, you guys have been doing your journal entries, right? All right, you'll have to do a journal entry. The prompts are in the course documents in Blackboard. So I don't have to go through that, right? You guys know how to do all that? So I'm sure a lot of you have taken time management, right? Probably all of you. No? All right, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's about managing your time. How many people think they don't manage their time effectively? Wow. All right. Well, we'll just go through some brief things you can do to manage your time a little better. The first thing you can do is make a list. You can make a list of the things you need to do. Cross them off when they're done. You can prioritize them. What's the most important? What's the least important? Pretty self-explanatory, right? You can set personal goals. What's important to you? Is it important you get an A? Is it important that you learn the material? What is important to you? That will help you determine how you should manage your time. Okay, we mentioned prioritizing. You need to manage your distractions. You know, the ones where your friends knock on your door and say, you want to go out and party tonight? Sure. Then don't complain when you get an F on the test, right? Is that how that works? So, the easiest thing for me to tell you when you're managing your time is, if I can do all of my work Monday through Friday and do it effectively, perhaps then I can spend the weekend doing whatever it is I want to with my friends, right? Because we all know when you're out with your friends, if you have things you should be doing, you're probably not enjoying your time that much because you're thinking of all the stuff you're not doing that you should be doing, right? Instead of putting it off to the last minute. You shouldn't take on too much. Okay? Learn to say no. If it's not that important, tell people you can't do it, whatever it may be. Okay? If you take on too much before you know it, you can't manage your time. There's not enough time in the day to get everything done. So, I don't know how many of you work full-time or you work at all and go to school. How many? Wow, that's a lot. We do live in a distressed area, don't we? So, that right there is tough to juggle, right? I mean, you have to go to work. Some of your peers don't. That's fun, right? They don't have to work and you do. So if you're taking on too many hours at work, cut back. Okay? I mean, $20 in your pocket isn't as important as getting your education that you're paying thousands for. Some people thrive on being busy. Is there anybody here that thrives on being busy? Yeah, like rush deadlines, you just can't wait for the next thing to come hit you. Some people work better under pressure. If that works for you, that's fine, but you need to realize if it doesn't work for you. If it doesn't work for you, you're going to find yourself hurrying to get things done. They won't be done right. I mean, it will affect not only your grades, but it'll affect your personal being as well. If you're not healthy, you're run down. How many people multitask? We have to. They actually say it takes you 30 to 40% longer to do a task when you multitask. Probably because your full mind's not on the task at hand. I don't know if any of you have ever been on the phone while you're answering an email. you're really not getting as much done as you think you are. And then you run the risk of writing in the email what you're saying to someone on the phone, and then hitting send. And if it's a personal conversation, that could be the end of your professional career, right? Because you could say something very inappropriate. So multitasking, I think it has its place, but I think some people aren't as good at it as others, and there's still a point where when you think you're good at it, you should still use it as little as possible. All right? And then there's always ineffectively scheduling your tasks. How many people use a calendar? Good many of you, right? It helps you keep things tracked, right? I mean, you know where you have to be, when you have to be. You'll find that people who don't use a calendar end up double booking, they miss appointments, they're late. It doesn't take much to buy a $5 calendar and keep track of everything. It also is somewhere where you can put down what assignments you have to get done, right? So you can look and say, well, that project's due next Friday, and today's Monday, so perhaps I should start working on it and not go out with my friends, right? Or read a book, whatever it is you guys do around here, right? Did everybody get the little procrastination quiz? Did anybody not get it? Oh, so it hasn't reached the back?
I think it's ran out.
Oh, you got it? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. Why don't you, they're going to be passing it around. Why don't you start taking it? Again, it's just a self-assessment. So just answer the questions honestly. I won't ask for you to give them back to me. This is just for your benefit. So go ahead and answer just the questions on the front page. Oh, you have it? Okay, we'll give you a All right, guys, I think everyone's done. So if you flip to the second page, it's kind of a legend on how we're going to grade it. I'll run you through the first couple just so you can get an idea. For the first question, if you answered like me or very like me, give yourself a P. If for the second question you answered either not like me at all or not like me, give yourself a P. Then if you go down there, you'll see where I've marked the two bubbles on either side. If you answered either of those two bubbles, you need to give yourself a P. Does that make sense? Does that not make sense to anyone? So go ahead and grade yourself. And then when you're done, add up all the P's. Just count how many P's you have. All right, did everyone get it added up? All right, listen. So you don't have to share your results with us, but you are welcome to. Did anyone get between 0 and 4 P's? Wow, awesome. So you guys really are procrastinators? You're kind of our elitist group. You're great. You're awesome. How many of you got between 4 to 8? Okay, so you're mild procrastinators, nothing to be too overly concerned about. More than not, you probably procrastinate because you don't want to do something. I mean, I'm sure that happens to a lot of you. Just the fact of starting something is overwhelming to you. James, do you have a question?
Mostly for me, it's trying to manage, because obviously for me, there's a lot of stuff going on.
going on alongside working with Vikings, and it's being treasurer voices, etc. Just trying to bust a lot of my time. That's pretty much the neighbors last time.
Because you're overloaded. So now you need to find a way to cut your schedule back, unfortunately. There's got to be somewhere where you can make a cut to help make it feasible to you. Does that make sense?
More organized a little bit more.
Yeah, calendar. Now, how many people got 8 or more P's? There's our procrastinators.
I'm not.
We got them now. All right. So, pretty much you procrastinate. Now, again, you need to figure out why you procrastinate. Are you just, some people just procrastinate. I don't know if it's in their genes or maybe it could be a learned habit. I mean, I honestly can't say why. Again, it could be you just don't feel like doing it. Maybe you're too busy having fun reading all those books, right? You don't read? So pretty much now you just need to find ways to quell the fact that you procrastinate. So we talked about getting a calendar. We talked about prioritizing. How about just do it? Why don't you just go with Nike's slogan? Just do it. Sometimes if you just do it, get it over with, it's over, right? Now, how many of you have like a huge project you have to work on every semester that overwhelms you? I think everyone does. How many of you wait until the last week or two to start it? Yep. And then you're scrambling, you're staying up late. So, think of it this way. You've all been to a shopping mall, right? Well, architectures and their infinite wisdom decided not to make a straight shot. Why do you think that is? If a mall started here and went 3 miles down the road, you would never stop at every store. You would physically go into this store, leave, get in your car, drive to the next store, because you would know how long it took you to get from point A to point B. So instead, they put little outposts here and something over here. So when it's all said and done, you really don't know how long you've walked. It's the same thing with a project. If you do like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, an hour, I don't know how long your projects take, right? Forever. Well, yeah, we can wait till the last week.